Since he was born right here in this very building, which unfortunately won't. All right, okay. So, yeah, I know, yeah. Our last day is going to be July 12th, so make sure you come back often. So, we're going to get started. We're going to start him off with a circle. It's about the size of a softball or a grapefruit, kind of toward the bottom center of the page. Most important thing, keep your lines very, very, very light. Barely touch the paper with your pencil. So, can everybody see that?
Yeah.
See that up there?
Yep.
No?
Yeah.
Perfect. Good. That's exactly how dark your lines should be. Almost invisible. I'm going to make my lines darker on the overhead screen so that you can see what I'm doing. Your lines nearly invisible. That's the secret to drawing without an eraser. Keep everything light, keep it messy, make mistakes, who cares? Nobody can see it, it doesn't really count. So once we have a circle or something kind of, sort of circular, we're going to add guidelines. For Stitch, we're going to turn his head a little bit to the side. So the middle of his face is not right in the center, it's a little teeny bit off center. Little crescent shape, just not quite in the middle. Next, we're going to add our horizontal guideline to figure out where his eyes are going to go. And that will be right through the middle of our circle. Side to side, left to right. Straight across the center. That's it. That's all you need. One circle, two guidelines. That is your basic foundation for Stitch. Or any animated character, really. You have the shape of their head, you know where the middle of the face is, you know where to put the eyes. Everything else is built on top. What we're going to do next is add the framework of the character, the basic parts and features that are going to make it look more like Stitch. So I'm going to start with his nose. Right where our two guidelines cross, I'm going to draw a nice big circle, about the size of a ping pong or a golf ball. Right in the middle. That's going to be his nose. It's also the Death Star. Next to his nose, we're going to add his eyes. And the eyes are actually a little bit smaller than the nose. The top of the eye comes up just under the top of the nose. That's you.
Thank you.
The bottom of the eye is just above the bottom of the nose. So if you want to add a couple of guidelines, you can, because it will help you to place the eyes. So on this side, since he's turned, this eye is going to look like a nice big circle sitting right in between those guidelines. On this side, since we turned his head a little bit, this eye is going to be, bless you,
Thank you.
an oval shape. Because an oval is really just a skinny circle. So there's his other eye. Underneath of his nose, we're going to add his mouth, or at least the start of his mouth. And we're going to play a little game of connecting the dots to do that. The first dot sits right beneath the bottom of the nose along our center line. The next dot is halfway from here to the bottom of the circle, but all the way over to the edge. The third dot is halfway between these two, all the way to this side. So now we're going to connect them together with a nice curved line from one to the other. That will eventually become his mouth. The next step is probably one of the trickiest parts of drawing Stitch. And that's to create his cheeks and his chin. His cheeks are a little bit bigger than our circle. So right when each dot, you come out maybe about the width of your pencil. We're going to add a curved line that connects it back to the top of his head. We're going to stretch his cheeks out a little bit on each side. On this side of his head, the left-hand side of his face, we're going to take the end of our cheek and curve it back toward the circle. So now it looks kind of like a little fin that you find on Stitch's spaceship or a '59 Cadillac. And we'll connect one cheek to the other with a nice big half circle right underneath. Now there's the basic shape of his head. Now we can add his ears. And Stitch's ears look a lot like this capital letter D in the word Studios. It's long, it's skinny, and it should be about the same size as his head from top to bottom. So if you see the size of your head from the top to the bottom, that's about the size of his ear. And it should also be about the same size as the width of his head from cheek to cheek. And the widest point of his cheek to the other side, that should be about the size of his head. Pretty close to it. So the ear is going to sit on each side of his head, right about here and here, and again, about that tall. The top of one ear is going to be right here, and his other ear is going to be about up to here. I'll have this nice skinny letter D for his ears. One on each side. Now, we can start to add the details, the little things that are really going to make it look more like Stitch. I'm going to start with his nose. At the bottom of his nose are nostrils. Nostrils, like these nice big teardrops or raindrops, except they're dripping upward toward the top of his head. On the left-hand side, it's a little bit skinnier, just like the eye. As he turned his head, so everything on this half is a little skinnier. Around his eyeball, we're going to add his eye patch. Sitting between the eye and the nose, we're going to draw what looks like a hook or a candy cane as it comes up at the top of the circle. And we'll give him a little bit of an eyebrow here, kind of is part of his eye patch. We'll just add a little crescent or banana shape at the top. The bottom of the eye patch starts at the same place and curves under our center guideline and back up to the edge of the circle. On this side, we're going to do the same thing. Starting here between the eye and the nose, we're going to come up and over to the edge of the circle. And there's this eyebrow at the top. And then the bottom of the eye patch curves under and then back up. To finish the top of his head, we're going to give him some wrinkles above his nose. 2 little wrinkles. We'll put a wrinkle above each eyebrow. And finally, we'll add a little bit of fur to the top of his head. His Stitch is fuzzy. He likes fluffy. We're going to make sure it's fluffy. Now we can start the bottom half. A little bit above our guideline, we're going to add a curve right here at the edge of the circle. That is his dimple. And the dimple is the anchor point of our character's smile. So from the center of our dimple, we add a little curve and connect it to create his smile. His lower lip also starts from our dimple, and we're going to follow the shape of his chin all the way around until we connect back to the other side. There's his mouth. Inside of his mouth, we're going to add his teeth. 8 in the top and 10 in the bottom row. Starting here along the center, his teeth is kind of like little candy corns as they hang down. 2 small ones right in the middle, nice and rounded at the bottom. Next to his 2 small teeth are his fangs. These are going to be the biggest teeth in the top of his mouth. Same shape, just a lot bigger. And again, on this side, a little bit skinnier. Behind the fangs are 2 medium-sized teeth. They're bigger than the small ones in the center, but they are not as big as those fangs. So there's the 8 teeth in the top. In the bottom row, same thing, we're just going to add another small tooth at the very, very end. So if you line them straight up, got 1, 2 in the center, then the fangs next, and a little bit skinnier on this side. The medium teeth are going to be behind that. And then finally, another small tooth at the very end. To finish the inside of his mouth, we're going to add his tongue and his gums. His tongue, 2 very large curved lines kind of coming up behind some of his teeth even. And his gum line, a little curve behind those last teeth. You'll see a little bit of it here in these gaps in the front. It's the pink stuff that keeps his teeth from falling out of his head. All we have left to finish are his ears. And for the ears, we want to round them out just like we did with the teeth. So I'm going to replace the straight line with the letter S from the word studios. I'm going to use this nice long and skinny S shape instead of that straight line. Do the same thing on this side, just backwards. To show the outside furry part of his ears, from the bottom of the S, I'm going to add a little curve to the outside of his ear on each side. So that's the little furry part of the ear at the bottom. And from right where the S crosses the straight line here, we're going to add another curve coming back to the side of the head. It is also the blue fuzzy part. And we'll do the same thing over here. The last part of Stitch, before we start to darken him in, are the cuts, or the battle scars in his ear. A little V-shaped cut at the bottom of his left ear, and another one at the top of his right ear. And there you go. There is Stitch. Now once we have all of our lines and shapes and something that looks kind of, sort of, maybe if you squint at him hard enough like Stitch, or at the very least, an evil koala. And what we're going to do now is we're going to find our lines and shapes that we like, and we're going to go over them and darken them in. See how that nice dark line takes over? Everything else fades away and disappears into the background. That is the secret to drawing without an eraser. Keep everything light, keep it messy. So what if you make a mistake or 2 or 20? Who cares? After you darken it in, nobody's even going to notice. Too busy paying attention to dark finished lines. And that's how animators, comic book artists, and cartoonists draw stuff. Don't worry about making mistakes. It's not a big deal. Everyone makes mistakes. So don't worry about it. Once we find what we like, then we darken it in and make it look like we knew exactly what we were doing the entire time. And you have absolutely no idea. So as we finish them up, shade them in. When you're done, those drawings are yours. You get to keep them and take them with you. Your personal belongings are yours as well. And maybe, possibly, one of you maybe can get to walk away with my sketch of Stitch here this afternoon. I'm going to ask you a trivia question about the movie Lilo and Stitch. And if you think you know the answer, raise your hand. I will call on you. And if you get it right, you will get to keep my drawing here today. Think about everything you can remember about the original Lilo and Stitch. toughest parts. Each two. All we have left to do is finish up his ears and start shading it a little bit. But there really is not a lot that needs shading. Stitch that pretty quick. But when you're done, it is yours. Take it with you when you go. Maybe if you happen to meet Stitch in the park somewhere today, take him the sign you're going for you. That makes a cool souvenir that you can take home, hang on your fridge, bring it to show and tell. Anyone out there who never even thought you could draw stick figures, now you know how to draw animated characters. So shade him in. I'm going to start with the inside of his mouth. Around his tongue. I don't want to darken in the teeth because they're white and the tongue is red. And you can darken in the back of his mouth behind it. Next are his nostrils, because not a lot of light goes into his nose because he's messing around with the plasma rifle. His eyebrows here at the top of each eye patch. And finally, his eyes themselves. I like to put a little circle or half moon in the corner. That could either be the glimmer in his eye, or it could also be a reflection of light because of his night vision ability, which has night vision just like a cat, but a lot better. So there's frequently a full reflection of light in his eyes. The light bounces in and out of his eyeball, so he has that ability to see in the dark. That's it. Once you're finished, make sure you sign your name on there somewhere at the top, the bottom, to the right or the left, wherever there's a little bit of room for it. When you are done, it is yours to keep and take with you. Your personal belongings are yours as well. And let's find out who gets to walk away with my sketch of Stitch here this afternoon. So if you think you have the answer to my trivia question, raise your hand, and if you get it right, you get it. Sound good? Here we go. In the movie Lilo and Stitch, Stitch is programmed by his creator Jumba to perform 3 tasks upon arriving in a large city. What are the 3 things Stitch was originally